What's going on, guys? Silent Mike here. Before we get to the question and answer, I have an awesome opportunity for my homies over at Reebok. They're looking for a new face of ReebokONE. It's going to be easy to enter. I'll leave the details below, but all you're going to have to do is submit 2 different pictures and a couple sentences about yourself as a trainer. Once again, this is an awesome opportunity to join the ReebokONE community. Details will be in the link below. Enjoy the question and answer. Later.
Ha, bitch, I'm about to blow up. Say what? Bitch, I'm about to
What's
blow
going on, guys?
up.
Silent Mike, Super Training Gym, Mark Bell's Powercast here, answering more questions from the Instagram. To be honest, this time it's going to be from Mark's Instagram. We threw up a pod picture earlier to get questions for the podcast. Now I'm going through trying to answer all the leftover questions or questions we didn't get to on the podcast. That's on iTunes if you guys wanted to check it out. But here, let's get started. With all the greats you guys have met across so many strength sports, what do you think they have in common? What makes them better than the next person, and what is the driving factor for success in strength sports? There's a lot of things, and I don't think it's any different than other sports. To be honest, I think there's hard work needed for basketball, football, and strength sports, consistency needed for all of them, and also just the genetic factor, which not many people want to admit to, but that's just how it goes. You could have 2 wide receivers that are just as good as each other, work just as hard, but the one that is 6'6" is going to make the NFL, and the one that's 5'11" may have less of a chance. And that's the same in powerlifting. Ed Cohn told us, who's arguably the best powerlifter of all time, that he had great training partners. They worked their asses off, they got stronger, they listened, they had good form, but none of them were world record holders like he was. And that's simply because maybe they were their genetic makeup was different. They didn't have the long arms that he did, the big hands that he did, and just not everything lined up their way. They still got very strong and they still progressed. And I think that's the best thing about powerlifting is that in basketball, yeah, you can kind of tell like, oh, I'm better at free throws today than I was yesterday. But in terms of a hobby or for everybody, it's kind of a sport for everybody because everybody can get better, everybody can get stronger. And it's easy to track. Have any of you ever thrown up toward the end of a hard lifting session? I have never thrown up from working out. I used to play basketball. We did tons of sprints, tons of track work. I used to work out with a strength coach, and we did different running drills and everything else. I basically worked out with mostly NFL guys or college football players, not many basketball guys, one other basketball guy. But I've never thrown up from that. Maybe it's just a genetic thing. Maybe it's a gag reflex. Never done it. I've been pretty close to it, and I felt really nauseous for a while after some sprints, especially the prowler, but never thrown up from lifting or anything like that. Are rest days mandatory for strength gains? I don't think they're necessary, but I think that they are often optimal. You could do less volume and train 7 days a week, but I do think having multiple rest days, one to maybe 3 a week, will help you recover and make those lifting, the days that you do train, better and more productive. Not only mentally, but physically. This is for Mark, but I'll just answer it. Can you add captions to your YouTube channel for those of us hard of hearing? Yes, we will try to work on that. I think YouTube might have a CC feature. I might be wrong, though. How do you brace your entire core properly when you squat or deadlift? Can't seem to get my obliques and lower back as tight. There's a bunch of breathing drills. One's on Mark's channel, YouTube channel, that we did with Chad Wesley Smith. We also did a bunch with Chris Duffin. Those will help, but also just touching yourself. Before I squat, I touch areas that I want to get tighter, lower stomach and my sides. And you can kind of feel yourself breathing in through there. One easy tip is to breathe through your nose as much as you can, and then fill the rest of yourself up with your mouth, breathing air, that is. Also, make sure your chest doesn't inflate, because you don't want to breathe up here. You want to breathe into your lower gut. Hopefully those things will help, and it's just practice. Sometimes a belt can help. Sometimes a belt can hinder it a little bit. Someone says, Silent Mike, looking impressively jacked. Well, thank you. That's probably just because I just did biceps all day long, every single day for the rest of my life. Never heard you guys answer this one. Does getting a little drunk, 6 to 10 beers every weekend, hurt your lifting or performance? I'd say 6 to 10 beers is a little more than a little drunk. You've probably built your tolerance up. That's quite a bit of beer. And I would say that overall it may hinder your lifting performance just from a hydration, recovery standpoint. But if there was a sport to drink and still be successful in, it might be powerlifting or some kind of strength sport, as you're just getting in more calories that way. I don't know. I don't like to drink just because I don't feel as energetic the rest of the week, so I don't drink for those purposes. I would like to know the breathing pattern on bench and deadlift when going for 8 to 10 reps. Sometimes reps can get a little tricky. I wouldn't say each lift is different than another, but what I would do is big breath, try to brace like you could, and then I would try to get as many reps as you can. So maybe depending on how heavy or how many reps you're doing, 2 to 4 reps, reset, big breath, go another 2 to 4 reps, and towards the end of your set, once it's like 8, 9, and 10 reps, it starts to get harder, maybe a breath per rep, trying to get, squeeze yourself as tight as you can. Someone asked, when can I be on the podcast or on the Powercast? Whenever we invite you. Until then, we probably can't be on it. A girl listener says, I'm the other girl listener, and I want to compete in a meet in September. Will the singlet give me giant camel toe? I can't make promises, but it's very possible that it will. Some of them, I believe the company's called Matman, are a little thicker, and those probably won't. I'm not a camel toe expert, but maybe. And then some are a little more spandexy and thin. Those may. Kind of like a weightlifting singlet. I think Adidas makes some. That may give a little more camel toe. I don't know. How to increase your bench press. That is very, very broad. If you're hitting a plateau, try doing things that you aren't currently doing. If you're benching once a week, try to bench twice a week. Working your shoulders, triceps, and back can help. The bigger the muscle is, the potentially stronger it is. Also, just doing more work, adding more volume to your training. That's a blanket statement on top of nutrition, sleep, and hydration in order to being good. What is your favorite sport to watch? My favorite sports to watch are definitely like basketball and football. Particularly, I like the NBA, NFL, and then I watch a little NC2A basketball. I never really got into NC2A football. I don't know if I rant about this already, but in my opinion, NBA basketball and NC2A basketball are almost completely different sports. The style of game is so different, and maybe that's just because I understand basketball better than football, but I feel that within football, at least recently, college and NFL are similar. The game is similar, except in the NFL you just have freakier and better athletes, so I tend to want to watch that. I do watch the bowl games. I like the spirit of all college sports. I think that's cool. I do like watching soccer, especially bigger games. Obviously, any kind of cup, World Cup, or a Cup de America or whatever that was just on, I'll watch some of that. The Olympics, I'll watch track and field and everything else. Championship League, whatever, the European leagues are cool in soccer, but that's about it for sports. And recently I've gotten the UFC, actually. I used to watch it here and there, but I just didn't want to buy the pay-per-view all the time. And there's so many, there's so many events, it's hard to keep up with everybody. But I'll watch a big event now and then. Mark's really into UFC, so he's got me into it a little bit more. It's fun to watch. It's always interesting. Does Mark Bell have a bidet? I don't believe he does, but he needs one, and we're going to end it there. Thanks, guys. If you like the question and answer, go ahead, subscribe, like it if you liked it. Give me a share, show me some love. Leave your questions in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, later.